Today we're zeroing in on physiotherapy. And trust me, there's a whole lot more to it than just, the usual image of massage and some basic exercises.
Absolutely. Yeah, our goal here really is to get to the heart of what physiotherapy truly is.
Hmm.
Its fundamental role in healthcare, how it sort of differs from other therapies you might know,
Right.
and, where it's heading in the future.
Yeah.
And we're basing this on, well, expert insight, someone who really lives this stuff.
Exactly, because let's be honest, you're just swimming in health information constantly, aren't you? And figuring out what each therapy actually does, well, it can feel like a bit of a puzzle.
We really can.
So our mission here is simple. Cut through that confusion, give you a really clear picture of the power and potential of physiotherapy.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What actually is physiotherapy at its core? What makes it distinct as a healthcare profession?
Well, fundamentally, it's a science-driven profession. It's all focused on restoring the body's ability to move, to function properly,
Yeah.
especially when that's been hit by injury, illness, or some kind of disability.
Okay.
Think of physios as like movement specialists. They're highly trained to assess what's going on with you, diagnose the root issues, and then build a personalized plan to get you back on track.
And it's quite practical, quite hands-on, isn't it? It's not just, here's some exercises, off you go.
Precisely, yeah. They use a really comprehensive toolkit of physical techniques. Therapeutic exercise is definitely a big part of it, but also manual therapy, skilled hands-on stuff to get joints moving, ease muscle tension. Then you've got things like dry needling that's using fine needles for muscle knots, electrotherapy for pain and healing, and, well, a whole load of other methods depending on what you actually need.
So it sounds like a much wider scope than maybe many people realize.
Yeah.
Could you maybe give us some concrete examples just to sort of bring it to life for the listener?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's think about someone recovering from, say, a stroke. Physiotherapy can be absolutely vital in helping them relearn really basic things like walking.
Right. Huge impact.
Huge. Or take an athlete who's had a bad injury. A physio designs a really specific rehab program to get them back playing, often, even stronger than they were before.
Okay.
And it's not just adults either. For a child with cerebral palsy, for instance, physio can make a massive difference to their balance, their coordination, giving them much more independence.
Yeah.
So these are really tangible ways physiotherapy bridges that gap, helps people get back to a fuller life, maybe even you or someone you know.
That really brings up an important point, though. I mean, we live in a world with advanced medicine, surgeries. Why choose physiotherapy? Why is it so vital when maybe medicine can just treat the symptoms?
That's a really crucial question. And the key difference often is that while medicine might target the symptoms, physiotherapy tries to dig deeper. It aims to find and fix the underlying, biomechanical problems causing those symptoms. It's about working with your body, empowering its own natural ability to heal and adapt.
And the sheer range of situations where this approach is effective is, well, it's quite striking.
It really is amazing. I mean, think about post-surgery rehab. So many people go through that or know someone who has.
Yeah.
Physio is often absolutely key to recovering properly, getting strength and movement back. Then there's chronic pain, a massive issue for so many. Physiotherapy offers real non-drug relief options. And for really significant things like recovery after paralysis or even something newer like post-COVID lung rehab, physio plays a critical role.
Right. That's very relevant now.
Totally.
Yeah.
And for active people, it's crucial for preventing sports injuries before they happen. But even just everyday stuff, improving your posture, your balance, your general strength, it helps with all that too.
And I suppose the idea of helping the body heal itself, maybe avoiding medication side effects or becoming too reliant on drugs, that must hold quite a bit of appeal for people looking for a healthier way.
Exactly. It really taps into that desire for a more holistic approach, a sustainable path to feeling better.
Okay.
Now, because there are quite a few therapies out there that involve hands-on treatment, it's easy for you, the listener, to get a bit confused about how they all stack up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So let's try and clarify the main differences between physiotherapy and, say, other common ones like chiropractic and osteopathy.
That distinction feels really important for understanding where physio fits in. So maybe start with physiotherapy itself again. What are its defining features when you put it next to the others?
Okay. So, as we've kind of established, physiotherapy is fundamentally about getting movement and function back, using movement science as its base.
Right, the science aspect.
Yeah, and it takes a pretty holistic view looking at how your muscles, nerves, joints, bones all work together or maybe aren't working together properly.
Mm.
The treatment then uses a mix. Carefully chosen exercises, a lot of patient education helping you understand and manage your condition, and those skilled manual hands-on techniques we talked about.
Okay, got it. So how does that contrast with, say, chiropractic? What's their main focus?
Chiropractic primarily zeroes in on the spine and how it relates to the nervous system. Their main tool typically is spinal adjustments or manipulations.
Right, the adjustments. Okay, and osteopathy, where do they fit in?
Osteopathy also uses manual therapy, so there's definitely some overlap in techniques there. But osteopathic practice often puts a really strong emphasis on the body's overall structure, how well blood is circulating, and the sort of balance of internal systems, seeing those as key to health.
Okay, so while some methods might look similar on the surface, the underlying philosophy and the main targets are quite different.
Exactly.
What would you say, then, is the most unique or defining aspect of physiotherapy when you compare them all?
I think what really stands out for physiotherapy is its strong grounding in scientific research. The methods used are very often evidence-based.
Right.
The field is constantly looking at new research to make treatments better. There's also this huge focus on functional rehabilitation.
Functional.
Meaning the goal isn't just, say, reducing pain, though that's often part of it, but getting you back to doing the actual activities that matter in your life. Full participation.
Got it. So function over just symptom relief.
Precisely. The aim is full recovery of function.
That clarification definitely helps position physiotherapy. Now, looking ahead,
Oh.
what's exciting? What's changing? It sounds like a field that's really evolving.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely not standing still. It's constantly growing, expanding its reach. I mean, you find physios now in such a diverse range of places, way beyond the typical clinic.
Like where?
Well, they're key members of advanced surgical teams. They work in ICUs, helping critically ill patients start moving. They're embedded with top sports teams, obviously in rehab centers, but also in schools, even in tech startups working on, like, movement tracking or well-being apps.
Wow. Okay. So really spreading out.
Yeah, and technology is playing a massive role too, isn't it?
It certainly seems that way. What kind of tech are we talking about?
Well, we're seeing some really innovative stuff emerge. Things like virtual rehabilitation, where you can do guided exercises remotely, maybe using sensors or video.
Ah, telephysio.
Exactly. Telephysiotherapy is huge, making it so much more accessible. Then there's the potential of AI. AI-assisted recovery tools, maybe guiding rehab or tracking progress. Robotic rehab is another area, offering really precise or intensive therapy.
Hmm.
And even within manual therapy, there are always ongoing specializations and refinements.
So these aren't just fancy gadgets. They're actually changing how physiotherapy is done and potentially what it can achieve.
That's exactly it. It's making it more reachable, potentially more personalized, maybe even more effective down the line. And alongside that, the actual role of the physiotherapist is evolving quite a bit.
How so?
They're really being seen as leaders now in key areas like pain science, understanding the complexities of pain perception.
Right, the brain's role?
Yeah, and neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt, which is huge for recovery, plus posture correction, and crucially, preventive care, helping you stop problems before they start. They're becoming much more proactive.
That proactive element sounds really important. And looking at the bigger picture, the whole healthcare system, what's the trend for physiotherapy's place within it?
I think what's really significant is this growing shift, in many places anyway, towards physiotherapists becoming primary care providers for certain issues, especially musculoskeletal ones.
Meaning you could go straight to them.
Yeah, potentially. For things like back pain or a sprain, you might be able to see a physio directly without needing to go to your GP first for a referral.
Wow.
It really highlights their growing autonomy, their specialist knowledge, and just how fundamental they are to the whole system. That move towards primary care feels like a real marker of how important the profession has become.
Okay. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what are the main takeaways, the core things we've learned about physiotherapy?
Well, we've seen it's a really solid science-based profession focused on getting movement and function back. It plays a huge role across a massive range of recovery situations and also in prevention. It's distinct from therapies like chiro and osteo, mainly because of that strong research base and the focus on functional rehab.
Right.
And its future looks incredibly dynamic, lots of tech innovation, expanding roles. Physios are really becoming key healthcare leaders.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener. Something to maybe mull over. Given this big emphasis in physiotherapy on movement, on the body's own healing power, what other parts of your health, your well-being, could maybe benefit from a similar approach, that kind of proactive, function-first thinking?
Yeah, good question. And also, with all this new tech coming in virtual rehab, AI, robotics, how might your access to really personalized physio change in the near future? What kind of possibilities does that open up maybe for you or for people you care about?
Lots to think about there. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration into the world of physiotherapy.
We really hope it's given you a clearer, maybe deeper understanding of what this incredibly important field is all about.